Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to JDL Gaming and welcome to a brand new series on this channel, EU4, yes, Europa Universalis IV. I was doubting a little bit what I was going to do for the next series. You guys probably know me most for the CK2 stuff I made, if you know me at all. Maybe you will be a completely new audience. But I was thinking maybe doing some Solaris, maybe some different kind of CK2 series, but yesterday, a couple of the guys in the Discord and me played a multiplayer game of CK2, and somebody mentioned EU4. And I haven't played EU4 in like a year and a half or 2 years, but I used to play it quite a lot. It used to be like hours-wise even higher than CK2 for me. But recently, CK2 has taken over a little bit, but still, I wouldn't mind jumping back into EU4 for a while. Yes, so where are we going to start? We are going to start in Holland, obviously. If you guys didn't know, I mean, to me it sounds very obvious from my accent, but I'm Dutch. I actually live, well, I mean, the EU4 map is a little bit, it's not very precise, but I live somewhere here. Town of Gouda. Oh, that's in this little province here. So we're going to be playing as Holland, and Holland is ruled by the Duke of Burgundy. Yes, and the Burgundians are very interesting. Very interesting time in Dutch history. Flemish historian, popular historian Bart van Loo argued that the Dutch nation kind of started with the Burgundians, and there's something to be said for that, because the first sort of Estates General, so the first sort of big meeting, is basically the Dutch Parliament, the Estates General, and it's kind of representatives from each of these separate provinces of the Netherlands. The first Estates General took place under Burgundian rule in, I think, 1460 something. So there's something to be said that is the start of the actual Dutch nation, even though, I don't know if you know this, but in reality, of course, the Dutch provinces didn't become independent until the 80 Years' War, the 1568 through 1648. The Dutch Revolt, as I think most historians now prefer calling it. Which makes sense because it wasn't 80 years long. But by then the Netherlands became sort of its own country. But even so, before the Burgundians, it was basically just a bunch of loose duchies and counties and bishoprics that didn't really have a combined identity. It wasn't until the Burgundians that sort of the nobles kind of banded together against their French overlords, and it became sort of, well, it would take very long until it became an actual nation, but it was a step in the right direction. So we're going to be playing as Holland. Let's dive in. I will not be playing RMM mode, mostly because whenever I play as RMM mode, something goes horribly wrong, or I press the wrong button and I can't revert anymore. I will basically be playing as if it's RMM, so I won't do any reloads or anything. Unless, the game does something really stupid. Yes, the Low Countries are a fragmented collection of territories on the edge of the Holy Roman Empire, having only recently been partially unified under the expanding reach of Philip III, Philip the Good. That's one of the great dukes of Burgundy, Bourgogne. Some realms such as Gelre and Utrecht remain free of Burgundian control, yes. Gelre would, in our timeline, be conquered by Philip's successor, Charles the Bold, who I think is in here. Where is he? Yeah, Charles de Bourgogne. Charles the Bold, Karel de Stoute. He would conquer Gelre. But Friesland, I think, would be even later than that. Yes, Frisian Freedom. Yeah, that's up here. I mean, Frisian Freedom. So the Frisians, that's what it says here. The Frisians in the north spurn Burgundian and imperial influence alike in favor of their own Frisian freedom. Basically, that means Friesland was kind of an anarchy. Like the large sort of farmers, herenboeren, the lord farmers, they kind of ruled themselves, and they convened at, I forget the name of the thing. It's like a tree. So that once every year they convene at a tree to sort of discuss blood feuds going on in their land, but basically they have no ruler. There is no Count of Friesland or whatever. It's a very strange sort of region, this. It's basically, it falls between everything. Nobody was able to really conquer it, and it didn't really unify either. So it's kind of odd. If you want to read up about that, please do. The realms under Burgundian control: Flanders, Brabant, and Holland. And in the 1440s, Flanders and Brabant were much more important than Holland. Holland's rise wouldn't really be until the late 16th century. And Antwerp over here is, I think, in the 1440s even not the big trading center that it's gonna be. I think the largest cities north of the Alps are Bruges and Gand, other than Paris, I guess. Paris is a little bit larger, but other than Paris, Bruges and Gand over here in Flanders are the largest cities north of the Alps. So there's some cities in Italy that are larger, but it's about 50 or 60,000 inhabitants, and London at this time is maybe like 20,000 or something like that. Control the Low Countries' richest lands and the profits of their trade in the English Channel are funneled into the coffers of Burgundy, yada yada yada. Even united, yada yada yada. Yeah, okay, that's all fine. We are Catholic for the moment. We will probably not remain Catholic, but more on that later. We are a monarchy, and we are in a personal union with Burgundy. You can see that here, yep, overlord. So they rule us. We cannot really do much ourselves, so we're going to have to get rid of that situation at some point, although we're not really in a hurry, because Philippe de Bourgogne is a very good ruler. So we might as well profit from his very high skills for the moment. Right, environment. Yep, I'm in the Holy Roman Empire. I have to become friends with Austria, the Holy Roman Emperor. And also I will not be able to efficiently conquer other land in Holy Roman Empire, because Austria will just ask me to return it, and that will give me a huge negative modifier. Alright, yes, so if you guys came to this channel for CK2, this might all be a little bit bewildering for you, but EU4, I mean, there's a lot of sort of features, but the overall idea is not that complex, and I think as we continue playing, you will figure it out soon enough. Basically, the idea is to slowly expand. The idea is to make money via, for example, trade, which goes via these trade nodes. And I think we have a merchant here in Champagne, which is pushing some of the trade value up to our home node, which is this one, the English Channel. And we have one here in Lubeck, which is doing the same. Who is doing the same, I should say. And this is our home node. We are collecting our money from this node. So we want to make sure that there's as much money coming in as possible, and we want to make sure that we ourselves control as much of the trade power in this node as possible. And the main reason the main method of doing that is to increase the trade power via, for example, buildings. For example, we have here the Rhine estuary, which gives us trade power. We can boost that further at some point by constructing a marketplace, but we can't do that yet. It needs to be we need to increase in the technology a little bit. And we can do the same here in Amsterdam, where Amsterdam is, of course, a coastal center of trade, which is, well, I mean, Amsterdam was a center of trade, but it was grain trade mostly. So it was the trade coming in from, for example, Danzig here, the grain farmers of the sort of Eastern Europe. That grain was sort of shipped over in bulk from the Baltic to the Netherlands, and at some point, the percentage of ships going through the Kattegat here was 50% Dutch, and that was even back in the time when it was just this county, just this little these little 3 provinces. Yeah, and we are Holland. So if you don't know well, I mean, you guys play EU4, so I probably don't have to explain this, but this is Holland, and the Netherlands is basically this area. Although historically it's a larger area even, but yeah, you guys, I think most of you joined me during the CK2 Game of Thrones playthrough, so you might not know this, but I'm a big history buff, and I will often stop the game dead to explain some stuff about history. That's just kind of what I do, so you know, better get used to that. Vloot van Den Haag. This is 9 barks, 10 lightships, 10 barks, and lightships can strengthen our trade in the English Channel node. So let's do that. Prokop Kastens, that's a horrible name. Adriaan Eindhoven, horrible name. Eberhard van Wyk, that'll have to do, I guess. Yeah, that's one thing I don't like about the EU4 is the random Dutch name generator is pretty terrible. Most of the Dutch names really don't make sense. I might make a mod for that later. So we will protect trade over in the English Channel, our home node. That's going to be step 1. Then we will probably increase our army a bit. That's probably not a bad idea. Military, I have to really get used to it. Again, I did do a little test run before I got started on this one, and I got in about 20 years. So I don't have to look everything up, luckily. So we can have a army of 7. We have currently 5 units, 4 infantry, 1 cavalry. And from what I remember, I don't know if that's still the meta, but from what I remember, we want about 50% cavalry at first. We will do one more infantry regiment, and then one cavalry regiment. Latin Knights. Alright, that should do it for now. And then we will lower our army maintenance, because we don't really need it, because we are in a personal union with Burgundy, so they should be able to protect us. And we will also mothball our fort. Mothball all forts, yeah, so that sort of turns off the maintenance of our fort over here, because yeah, EU4 works with a fort system, so not every province has a fort, but a province that has a fort protects every surrounding province. So a fortress in Den Haag, in The Hague, will protect all of these provinces. So yes, I think that is basically the first couple of steps that we're gonna do. And you know, like I told you guys, I have a pretty beefy PC nowadays. So even though we probably have to wait quite a while before anything interesting really happens, before we can go to war, before we can declare our independence, time will tick by very fast. Yes, and then we can also start our diplomatic play a little bit, because eventually we want to get independence from Burgundy, but we're not in a hurry, like I said, because we can profit from the excellent stats of Philip the Good. But we will, in order to sort of get on the right track there, we will improve relations with Austria and France. France because they are very strong and they can easily kick Burgundy's ass, and Austria because they're the Holy Roman Emperor. So it pays to have good relations with them. We only have 2 diplomats for the moment, but that should increase soon. And once we have increased our relationship a little bit, we can ask them to support our independence. Here it is. And once we have the backing of both Austria and France, we can go for it. We can start to declare our independence and see if we maybe can reach it, and maybe even grab some Burgundian land in the meanwhile. So let's go. Look at the speed. The Great Bullion Famine. Oh, I clicked that away, but yeah, that was a big deal. Well, no, that's actually later in this timeline, I guess. But at some point, Castile, Spain, is gonna colonize the New World, and they're gonna have access to an enormous amount of silver. And something very odd happened when that happened, because everybody in Europe thought, oh, Spain is just importing pure silver, so they're just going to be able to spend that on anything they want, and it will be always worth the same, because the concept of inflation wasn't really known back then. But then, you know, the silver price dropped and dropped and dropped, and Castile grew and grew, and extended and extended, and had to defend more and more borders. And eventually they went bankrupt during the 80 Years' War. So that's one of the reasons why little old Holland was able to beat Spain, was just because Spain didn't have any money. And part of that was paradoxically just because they imported so much silver, which is paradoxical, but it's true. Mission fulfilled. Build the force limit. Okay, good. We will fulfill this mission and continue on. The Kingdom of Italy and the Empire. Yeah, that is the event that means that once in 50 years or so, the Italian provinces will probably leave the Holy Roman Empire, which is fine. Yeah, so I will explain some stuff here and there, but I think most of it kind of speaks for itself. So if you just watch me play, for example, this is the Holy Roman Empire. It has an emperor, who is Austria, and it has a bunch of electors here in orange. The electors elect the emperor. The emperor has various powers in the Holy Roman Emperor. He can ask you to return provinces. He will be called in if somebody outside of the empire declares war on a state within the empire, and he's got a few more powers. Overlord Burgundy decided we must embargo their rivals. Okay, fine. Might be worth it to build some more lightships. Surrender of man. That usually leads to war between France and England, and it has this time as well. So France is back at war with England. So the 100 Years' War has kicked off once more. We will make some more lightships to protect our trade in the English Channel. And we will wait for France to end their war with England, which usually they will win. in my experience. Although, you know, like I said, I haven't really played this game in a year and a half or 2 years. So maybe not this time, but it seems already that the French are winning. And this is sort of in the gift to the state. The nobility and the businessmen of the realm have decided to reward our good governance by donating cash to our treasury. Oh, okay, thank you. We can do this one. 10 prestige and some gold. We can have gold, prestige, or gold and prestige. I mean, that's easy choice. Yeah, so this is sort of the end days of the 100 Years' War. I'm not quite sure when it ended, but I think England right now has a terrible, terrible king, right? Let's see. Yeah, Henry VI Lancaster. And the War of the Roses are about to... The Wars of the Roses will probably kick off soon, and that sort of signifies the end of the 100 Years' War, basically, if I recall correctly. Although I'm not as well versed in English history as I am in Dutch history, obviously. Yes. Let's see. You guys can also protect trade in the English channel. And, you know, I might not be... I think if you guys have seen this channel before, you know that I am... improved relations with France and Austria are at 100%. I think we will ask them to support our independence then, if they want to. France doesn't want to yet because they're at war, but Austria should want to. Yeah, they do. Alright, so now when we declare independence on Burgundy, you can see that Austria is joining us. Our ally Austria will be joining us. But we're not going to do it. We're going to wait for France to get out of their war and call them in as well. That seems like a smart idea, right? Karel van Rij. That's just something like, I mean, Van Rij is a sort of a minor city in Limburg, in the province of the Netherlands. So this is basically like calling someone like Charles Liverpool or something like that. I maybe should make a submod with better localization for the Dutch. I might do that at some point later if I have some time left. But first we will wait for the French to end their war with the English, and we will improve some relations in the meantime. Just a waiting game for now. I think it will be 1450s or so before they end their war. Because they've basically won already, but they will basically wait until their war score is high enough that they can just grab whatever land they want in France. Kick out the English. We can use the military workforce for one base tax, so we can spend some money. Let's use the military. We could hire some advisors, but I think for now we're fine, because the advisors are fairly expensive. Basically, yeah, so EU4 works with administrative power, diplomatic power, and military power, which are three sort of point systems. You can use them for various things. You build buildings with them. You increase technology with them. You can core provinces, which is sort of incorporate them into your empire. That costs points. A bunch of other stuff. You can improve development, which is a system I don't really like much. But basically, you have taxes, production, and military power, or sort of manpower. And each, like the more manpower you have, obviously the larger your army can be. The more production you have, the more money you get from production, and also the more trade goods are traded in your trade node. And the more administrative power you have, basically the more taxes you can raise. So, you can also increase the size of your provinces. For example, I could decide to spend some diplomatic power to increase the production over here in Den Haag, which might as well do that. I am kind of waiting for where is it? Yeah, for this one, level 4 technology in a diplomatic technology, because that will give me a marketplace. And since we have this modifier in this province to give us +10 trade power, and we have this modifier in Holland to give us this modifier, this trade power modifier. If we build a marketplace in both of these provinces, that will increase our trade power by 50%. Let's see. I have to get used to this interface a little bit again. Buildings, yeah. So a marketplace gives you 50% trade power. And, since we have this modifier that already gives us 10 base trade power, that's already +5. And if I just look in this trade node, you can see that currently we have about 100 trade power here. 41%, 41 from provinces and 28 from light ships. So two marketplaces will give us another 10-ish of that. So that already puts us pretty close to overtaking England as the main trader in this trade node. So we would be the most profitable trader here. We're not just yet. We have 20%. England has 25%. But we will soon. That's the goal. Tensions between nobility and clergy. I don't really care about either of them. Yeah, this is the estates thing. So basically, you want to sort of balance all these estates. Currently, all three of the estates are equally loyal to us. But ideally, we are Holland, so we want the burghers. It's always a bit weird because burger in Dutch just means citizen, but burger in England sort of implies that they're merchants, right? Sort of the merchant class. That's not really the case in Dutch, and the word is Dutch, so that's kind of one of those examples of a loan word, like from another language, moving to English and changing its meaning a little bit. But that's fine. Jesus lived among beggars and fishermen, why can't you? Surely we do not wish to anger His Holiness. 7 noble regiments, ouch, okay. I mean, neither are great, because I don't really want the papacy to hate me, because they might excommunicate me, and that is pretty terrible. On the other hand, we're gonna break free from Burgundy anyway, so why not, right? Jesus lived among beggars and fishermen, why don't you? I do think we should. It's probably a good idea to just declare statute in respect to. Okay, yeah. So because we now hate the Pope, we can press this button to renounce the Pope as the head of our religion in our country. But I mean, that doesn't really make sense to me. Like, this is the statute in restraint of appeals was something that was passed in Britain under Henry VIII, I think. And he wanted to. He could do that because he was a big, strong country who didn't really mind the Pope, but we as a county doesn't really make sense, I think, to declare ourselves head of the church in our domain. That's not really something that we would do, especially in 1448. Maybe later in the Reformation we could do that, but not for now. Let's just improve relations with the Pope, get it out of the negative, because we don't want to be excommunicated. Conquest casus belli against East Frisia, really? How come? I wouldn't mind conquering East Frisia, but we can't right now, I think. But no, we can. Why is that? Why did we suddenly get a claim? Can we ask for military access on Friesland? Probably not, right? Access actions, no, they hate us. Minus 190 once your provinces. Do we go for that? There's no real reason not to, right? I would prefer to have access to it, though. You have no diplomats to send, but they would say yes, probably. Okay. Interesting. Ask for military access. Please let me through. Gelre won't let me through. What about Brabant? Oh, we can just walk over Brabant, so we don't need to military access in Utrecht. So let's cancel that, because you have a limited amount of diplomatic relations you can have. So we should go via Kleve and Münster. We can do that. The bishopric of Münster. There we go. Okay, let's just that has prepared us for the war. Now to increase the army maintenance again. Usually that will happen automatically if you do the if you declare the war, but we might as well. Let's hire a general as well. Adriaan Heineken. The Heineken family are 19th century people. There was no Heineken family, I think, known at least in the 1440s, so that doesn't really make sense, but okay. Let's just wait for our morale to tick up a bit, and let's declare war on East Frisia. They are allied with Bremen, but Burgundy will probably help us. Oh no, we can't do it. Ah, damn it. I should have checked that before. We are a subject, so we can't do that. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to get used to these mechanics a little bit. I'm sure that most of you watching are already shouting at me, but cut me some slack. I started in In EU3, I think I have probably about at least a few hundred hours in EU3. Europa Universalis 3. But that was before Steam, so I didn't track my hours. Let's maintain relations with France. How is your war going, France? You winning? 61%. Usually I think they quit about 75 or 78, so that they can just grab everything that isn't Calais. Calais. Yep, this is the last bastion of English rule on the continent, historically. Although they were forced to give it away. Dijonais is now the seat of a new cardinal. He's loyal to Burgundy. We can invest in new technology. Temples. Sure. We're not going to build many temples because we are very much a trade-focused nation. We let's see if we can check our income actually. This is going to be a trade-focused playthrough anyway. So you can see taxation 2, production 1, trade 3, and that's going to only go up. So that's going to be our main source of income. Pike Square, yeah, this gives you plus 0.5 land morale, and morale is very useful in fighting wars, so that's good. So our army just became a little bit stronger. So ideally, we want to increase from this Latin medieval infantry to men at arms or longbows, at least from what I recall. Burghers request privileges. Yeah, you can have some privileges. Countess Isabella has died. Charles de Bourgogne will rule our glorious nation. Karel the Stout and Charles the Bold. This is the guy who was the last ruler of the independent Duchy of Burgundy, basically, I believe. His daughter was Mary of Burgundy, who married a Habsburg, I think. And then once Charles de Bourgogne, Charles the Bold died, the French came in, seized Burgundy, and the Habsburgs, the Austrians, seized the rest. And via that route, it eventually ended up in the Spanish Habsburg line under Charles V, who is probably the most famous. Well, I always say he's the most famous Belgian, or one of the most famous Belgians, because Charles V was King of Spain and ruled most of South America as well. It was just this. He ruled Naples as well. He ruled Aragon. He ruled Milan over here. He ruled Austria. Well, no, he didn't rule Austria. He gave that to his brother, I believe. But he ruled the Low Countries. And he was born and raised in Brussels. He spoke Flemish. But of course, especially in sort of this early modern era, these nobles were kind of a class of their own. So they were very, very cosmopolitan. Usually they spoke multiple languages. It doesn't really make sense to talk about them in the sort of modern national sense. Because you could call Charles V Spanish, you could call him German, you could call him Dutch or Flemish. But, he spent a lot of his time in the... what's the name of that palace? Kouwenbrugge? The Grand Palace in Brussels. That was where he grew up, and that's where he met William of Orange, who was a good friend of his at first, or not really a good friend, sort of a son, a surrogate son, basically. One of the more powerful nobles of the Netherlands. And William of Orange is, of course, the Dutch founding father. Although, that's all still a good century down the line. Okay, so first we have Charles de Bourgogne. See how he will lead us. Would probably be a good idea to hire a diplomatic advisor now. Trade efficiency, yeah, this is too much, 4 gold per month. We only make about 4. So let's have Karel Kosters. He will cost us 1 gold a month, but he will give us +1 Diplo power. And right now we have 4. This used to be 8 under the previous ruler, so that's why. So it's probably now about time to look towards our independence, which we will, but we will wait for the French to end their war with England, and otherwise they will not be able to support us. Charles I and the Dutch people. The ascension of Charles I. Charles I has been less than well received by the Dutch people. They consider his manners foreign and strange. While some distrust the new ruler is only natural, it seems that for the time being, our new duke will mostly have supporters at court, where he surrounds himself with Burgundian friends from foreign lands. Yes, they will learn to love me in time. Now, this is a little bit of an anachronism, but not maybe as much as you might think. Because there was certainly some opposition to appointing too many French nobles to sort of important court positions, even during the Burgundians. But, you know, like I said, the nobility was kind of a class of its own, so it wasn't really like modern times as much. We are fighting for Provence, but we're not going to help our liege out much. In fact, I'm just going to lower our army maintenance probably. I will keep our fortress up though. Low maintenance, I know, we're not going to help Burgundy. In fact, this might be a good moment to strike, but I still want to wait for the French. Naval research wrong. It seems as if a leading ship right in our... no, ignore them. We need the Diplo power. We also need the money to get... Ah, here we go. Marketplace. Nice. So I saved up some money so that we can now immediately... this is always handy. Like you select the building in the list here, and it will tell you immediately how much trade power this will add. So this altogether will add something like 13 trade power, which will really increase our trade income in the English Channel. Because right now we have 100, so that will go up to 113 or something like that. So we are good. We are golden. The Renaissance. Yes, that is the institution. Where is it? Probably in Italy, right? Yeah, here it is. It's helpful to have that spread as soon as possible, as soon as we can, to our own province, because that will mean bonuses to research and stuff like that. Yeah, let's recall the diplomat to the papacy and send it back to Austria. You guys are already supporting us, right? Yeah. Come on, France, you've won the war, man. End your war. You need to help us out. You need to help us out here, man. Oh yeah, and before I forget, we should give some diplomatic feedback to our allies. We want this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. These are all the provinces that we want, so that we can... Oh, a war ally owns it. Okay, we cannot do it here, I guess. This one we need... These are all allies, so we can't appoint their provinces as vital interest yet. But basically we want the Low Countries up here. This is going to be the maximum extent of our land in Europe, because it's not going to be a very expansionist playthrough. It's going to be trade focused. It's going to be toll. We're at 100 with Austria again. Nice. Ah, France ended their war. Nice. You already at war with somebody else? No. In that case, let's just increase our army maintenance. And let's wait a little bit for our army to replenish. And I'm pretty sure that once we declare independence, we can hire a few more soldiers. So we might want to build a few more already. You can see that we are exceeding our army limit, so it's going to be very expensive, but comparatively we make a shit ton of money because we have so much trade power, right? So I think we can afford it for now. But let's just wait for that to happen and then strike the Burgundians. I think that is probably the best play. All right, 9. Adriaan Heineke can help us out. The French are already at war, damn it. Will they not help us now? Oh no, we can't. Ah, you Frenchies. You bastards. Okay, well I guess we'll wait then. I guess we will disband our... Ah, that's a shame. That's a shame. We should have moved on that sooner. I really do want the help of the French though. If it's just the Austrians, then we may not win. But we have the time, guys. We have the time. It's only 1452. As long as we are independent before, say, 1500. That's all fine. What do you say, Frenchies? I think the French should finish this war quite soon anyway. They're already at 20%. Not quite sure what they want out of it. If they want subjugation of Brittany, then it might take a bit longer. Delegate more to the provinces. Yes, we're going to increase the burghers' loyalty, because that is the most useful estate for us. Because that gives us trade efficiency, and I believe also trade power. Tensions between nobility and clergy. We've already had this event, right? So you don't want loyalty to drop below 30%. But I also don't want to Ugh, I don't want the nobles to rise up. I also don't want to, like, both of these are shit. I guess I will just press the right button once the morale of my troops has gone up a bit, and then we will press this one. 7. I guess we can also do mercenaries, right? Free company. How much does that cost us? 80 gold. Ouch. I mean, we need it. Come on. Why can we not press the... There we go. Oh hey, Brabant is helping us out. Thanks, Brabant. They are attacking our nobility here. Wow, thanks. that is appreciated. So we can remove our mercenaries again. Joost van Rossum. You can stand down, my friend. We don't need you anymore. And the Frenchies. Okay, we decisively won the Burgundian Provençal excommunication war. Provence will cede Barrois and Verdun to Burgundy. Lorraine will cede Metz and Lorraine. Provence will be forced to give Burgundy 10% of the income. Okay, fine. That's fine. They will get a ton of aggressive expansion penalty. 100%. Okay, so France should be out of the war soon. So I think we will just make sure that the army is... Okay, so they're out of the war now. My French friends. Would you mind supporting my independence? Nice. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we spent we spent a ton of money on those mercenaries we didn't need, so that's not really helpful. But I guess should we take out a loan? 22 gold is nothing though. I think 7 troops should be fine though. Yes, I think we're gonna go for it. Declare war. France and Austria, we have good relations with Burgundy. Let's send them an insult first to make sure that we are not going down 2 in stability. Because yeah, so now we're only going down 1. It's had good relations here first. Stability, I haven't really mentioned that yet, but basically you want this to be fairly high. You can improve it here. You can press boost. We might do that once we declare war. Otherwise, we have a higher chance of revolts and stuff. We are waiting for a diplomat to arrive, and then we have until 10th of March. There we go. Yes. Okay. France and Austria are joining us. Brabant, Vlaanderen, and Nevers are joining Burgundy. So let's go. Let's boost stability a little bit. I want it to be at least 0. Our personal union is disbanded. We have Lodewijk the First Kirksena. That's very Frisian. That's not really a Dutch-sounding name, but he is great. 6 military, 3 administrative, and 2 diplomacy. That's great. Nice. Okay. France accepted our offer to enter into a military alliance, and so did Austria. Let's turn down the clock a little bit. Our mission is fulfilled. Trustworthy allies. We have 2 allies. That's nice. Okay, Frenchies and Austrians, do your thing. I think we will, for the moment, just wait here in our capital. Or should we move on Antwerpen? That's probably a good idea. Where are the French? How many men do you have? Quite a decent amount. And the Austrians have 20k, and we have another 12k down here. I hope you guys are not at war with anybody else. No, so we should be fine. I think we should move down to Antwerpen. Because Antwerpen, I kind of want to grab that. I want to become independent, but also ideally grab Antwerpen. And the reason for that is we have the trade modifier, and we are doing a trade-heavy game. And Antwerpen historically was probably the most important trading center, well, in Europe at least, for at least 50 or 100 years. So we're gonna try to grab it. Now we are gonna have a battle between Holland and Nevers. I guess we will just wait for... Oh no, we can't. We can't wait for Nevers. We're already locked. Fine. We outnumber them. So this is the first battle of the playthrough. We have 4,000 men in first rank, 2,000 cavalry. We might want to hire a military advisor. Is there one for discipline? No, I guess not. Okay, well then never mind. Yep, we beat them. We stack wiped them even. Nice. I think probably because we have just that extra military tech. That helps a lot. We increased to level 5 there. I think we are quite ahead of time. You can see that here we have an ahead of time penalty. Because we are probably a little bit further ahead because we had such a good ruler. And better local yearly corruption plus 0.05. Ouch, that's not great. Strengthen government. Oh, that gives us legitimacy. 400 military power. I mean, we're not gonna increase the military technology anytime soon because we have an ahead of time penalty. I guess it couldn't hurt. Let's press the button. And this is kind of the thing people don't like about the EU4, and I can kind of see why. There's a lot of sort of button presses to increase your country, right? We can increase, for example, the amount of military power by the press of a button and that kind of thing. It's a lot less organic. But then again, I mean, I still think it's a fun game. Oh, Brabant is moving. Where are our allies? Here comes the Austrian train moving into the Alps and towards Breisgau. So let's hope they manage to seize it. Den Haag is under siege, but they don't have enough men to make a difference. So we should be fine there for a while. How are our allies doing? Come on, Austria. I think we will put up the speed a little bit. Just keep an eye on our own troops while we watch what our allies are doing. Good move, Austria. Nice. First major battle of the war. That's 13,000 or something versus 30. And we won that easily. The Franco-Austrian alliance. There's another battle going down here. The French are defeating the Flemish at Picardy. Good going. How many people do we need to besiege this place? Regiments needed 6. Okay. Well, I kind of want to make sure that I take these 2 provinces. In fact, let's just change our diplomatic feedback and say that we want... War ally has already claimed it. What? Really? Who has claimed it? France? Can we see that? No, they haven't. Austria. Austria has claimed it. Austria claims every single country in the Holy Roman Empire. Okay. I mean, I don't want Austria to take it. I prefer to grab it for myself. Oh well. Oh no. I want to keep Antwerp though. He's moving in here with 14,000 troops. Can I get out of here in time? Yeah, I can. Man, I wanted to besiege Antwerp. Maybe we can't. Maybe we have to let go of that that particular illusion. Yeah, I think so. I think let's move like this. Oh. We can't move here? Why not? I guess there's a fortress somewhere. That's the thing, like with fortresses in EU4. I think probably because these guys are besieging this fort, we cannot easily move out of the sort of area of effect of that fort. We need to move to the fort first, and then we can move out. So that's what the game is doing there. Can we move this way or this way? We can't move this way? No, I guess not. No, let's move this way then. Let's make sure our army stays out of the hands of our enemy. Although I'm not sure if we will be able to manage that. Okay, he moved away from our fort, so that should mean we can... No, I guess we can't move to our... move to Zertogenbos from here. I guess it's another fort that's doing this. Fort in Utrecht, maybe? This is only 1k troops, so we can at least intercept them. And maybe move away from there. Oh no, the Burgundians, they caught us. Oh dear. This went a lot better in my test play. The Burgundian army kind of focused on France and Austria. But now they're taking us on and they're going to stack wipe us probably. Ouch. The Battle of Breda, yeah, big loss for us. We lost 3,000 men. 3,000 good Dutchmen. Maybe we can recover up here. Probably not though. Friesland, would you mind giving me military access? He would mind. Okay, that's a shame. Come on, Frenchies and Austrians, move up north. We need your help here. Burgundians are besieging our land. Okay, here comes the army of Brabant. They're crossing a strait. So they get a crossing penalty, but we have low morale, so we might still not win. In fact, high chance of that. Oh dear. I guess I just have to rely on my allies to win this battle for me. That's a shame. In the test game, I was able to grab Antwerp and even take some land for myself after the peace deal, but I think that's probably going to be not going to be possible this time. Well, let's see what the French and Austrians are up to. Let's just increase the, because we cannot really do anything anymore. We have no army anymore. So let's just wait it out, I guess. I wouldn't mind a bailout of my capital though, guys. Oh, they're gone again. I guess they're moving south to deal with the French. Can we have 9,000 manpower. I guess we could recruit a new army. Oh, we still have an army. Where are they? Oh, they're down here. Oh, they fled. Right. That's the thing in this game. Can we move back? Yeah, I think because Austria is our ally, we can just move through the... Dude. What? Ugh. I guess we will help out the Austrians, I suppose. No, we shouldn't. We should go for Antwerp still. That's probably the best play. It's ambitious, but it's, I think, the best play. We don't really care what happens to Austria. In the end, the Burgundians will probably lose. Yeah, so we are besieging now all their land. Let's make sure we grab Antwerp at least. Okay, we are turning the tide of the war at least. We're at 45% already. We can enact the government reform. Okay. We can change the power structure from feudal nobility to autocracy. We can curtail noble privileges. I tend to go with that one. Or we can compromise with the nobility, which decreases our stability cost. But I try to curtail the power of the nobility at all costs, usually as the Netherlands. Because that's kind of what happened in real life. And then the county of Holland, like, it was basically a swamp for a long time, like most of it. So in order to make that land useful, what tended to happen was the nobles of Holland gave out these sort of licenses to usually people with money, so usually merchants from the city, to certain parcels of land, and then they could they got a whole bunch of privileges if they were willing to sort of improve the land, make it suitable for farming. So that means that all of that sort of improved farmland was held under very advantageous privileges, like there was low taxes to the nobility, less levies, that kind of thing. So that meant that the nobility had a lot less influence in Holland compared to the rest of Holy Roman Empire, and also to an extent it was due to the high degree of urbanization in Holland. Like in the 17th century, the province of Holland was about 50% urbanized. So 50% of the population lived in cities, which was really, really high at the time. At the time, like Britain, for example, was like 10%. France, something similar. Most of Germany, well, not most of Germany, but parts of Germany were similar. Only region that was kind of comparable, I guess, was northern Italy. So 50% urbanization means most of your population is in the cities, and traditionally, nobles have less power over cities than over the countryside, for fairly obvious reasons, I think. It's just that cities have walls. Cities have usually privileges, trading privileges, that kind of thing. Well, only a small proportion of our population live in the cities. No, they don't. Attempt to improve the conditions. Sure, one-based tax in Zeeland. That's worth it, right? We could increase our army size a little bit. That's probably a good idea. We'll improve the speed of this siege. Okay, Austria doesn't want to give us Breda. What a bunch of bastards. They did give us Bruges and Ghent, which is useful. Now I just want to make sure that we grab Antwerp as well. A new concept 445 of Austrian heritage with Catholic faith. That's great. Mariah Carolina. Great. It's a little bit of a Catholic name, but I guess we are still Catholic for the moment. Man, this siege is taking ages. Should I move my fleet out? Probably not a terrible idea. That would improve the siege speed at least. Here come the French. We want to make sure that Burgundy is fully occupied, so that we can grab as much land as we can, and grab our independence, and maybe grab a bit of gold or reinvestment. That's probably not a bad idea either. I wouldn't mind improving our legitimacy a bit more. Strengthen government. 100 military power, yeah, sure. That's the last time I'm going to press that button, I think, because I want to go to standardized spikes as soon as possible, improve our army. Okay, yes, we besieged Antwerpen. Great. Okay, we're at 100% even. Burgundians were just fully held back. That's good. That's good news for us. So let's offer them a peace deal. 70,000 troops versus... Did we have 30,000 casualties, really? Damn. I think that's probably not right. I think they had more casualties than that. Offer a peace deal to the Burgundians, yes. First of all, most importantly, we want independence, thank you. Second of all, ideally, I would like Antwerpen, which will give us a big chunk of aggressive expansion. So it's probably not a good idea to take anything other than Antwerpen, or people will form a coalition against us. And we have plenty of time. We can grab the rest of what's in here as well, especially if we cancel the overlordship over Brabant. So that means Brabant will be independent, so we can take on Brabant without having to take on Burgundy. That's probably a good idea. Ideally, I would like Flanders to be independent as well and get a bit chunk of money. With less money. 400 gold, that's worth it, I think. I will only get 65 of that, though. I mean, that's fine, I guess. Yeah, so we're just gonna grab Antwerpen, and we're gonna make Brabant and Flanders independent together with us. Right? That's what we have right now. Yes, okay, sentiments. Dutch war for independence is over, guys. 77,000 casualties on the left side, on the attacker side, and 74,000 on the defender side. That's brutal. Extremely unrealistically brutal for this age, but hey, that's fine. We've lost independence, but we are independent, boys. We have Antwerpen here. We can make it a core. And then I think I'm just gonna increase autonomy as well, because it's already at 90%. That will lower unrest by 10. That means that the risk of a revolt will be much lower. I will keep the army fully maintained for now, although I will reduce that later. Flanders has announced Holland as its new rival. Yeah, we need to select some rivals. I guess we can select Flanders, and we can select Brabant as well. How are the coalitions against us doing? I think it seems to be fairly well. Minus 25% due to aggressive expansion. That's reasonable. I want to stay friends with the French, so let's improve that relation as well. 130 is not a lot though. What happened there? Allowed to rival. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Flanders has claimed Antwerpen, but we should be fine. Austria broke their alliance with us. France broke their alliance with us. Ouch. Okay. Why though? What did we do to you? Trust. I guess our trust is low? Maybe because we took that province? Broken alliance. No, I didn't. Is trust... Is that... Can you see that somewhere? What the trust is? Diplomatic reputation. It seems pretty reasonable. I guess because we... I mean, we should have paid attention, I guess, to that during the peace deal. But I guess they don't trust us. You still want to be an ally? No. Okay, well, I mean, I think it's worth it still. Because Antwerp is a very, very strong province. With a good trading relationship. We should find some other allies then in that case. Do the Austrians not want to be my ally? Trust. No, I guess not. Could go for the Brandenburg duchy. Willem is our new heir. He's pretty terrible, but at least we have a successor, so there won't be a personal union. Let's improve the relations with the. Will we be able to convince them? Yeah, probably. With the Brandenburg duchy. Duchy of Brandenburg, which eventually, of course, would turn into the Duchy of Prussia. Although that's a long way down the line. I think that's somewhere in the early 17th century. Okay, Antwerp is now a core. We should make it a state as well. And ideally I would want to make Flemish a accepted culture. And I think we can almost do that, yeah. Antwerp is at 19 development and we can make it an accepted culture at 20 development. And accepted cultures means that I think it integrates a bit faster. And you get a little bit less chance of revolts. And I think Flemish should be an accepted culture in the Netherlands, because these are the two main cultures of the Low Countries, at least for the area that we are gonna grab. Oh, I guess Frisian. I guess they made Frisian in their culture. That makes sense. That would be the third one. Marketplace in Antwerp. Yeah, let's do that. That's another 3.5. That's not a lot, but that's gonna grow as the autonomy goes down. Although that's not gonna go very fast. I suppose we could do the edict centralization effort. Let's do it. That will increase the upkeep of the state a little bit, but the upkeep of the state is not a lot anyway. It's only 0.5 gold, so that's fine by me. We will lower the army maintenance for now, because we don't need it at the moment, and we will probably mothball our forts as well. Mothball all forts. Should be a way to do that automatically, I think. Okay, let's head back to Antwerp. So it's still a little bit unrest. If we put an army there, it should be less. Although I guess every year it will go down a bit. So I think it will be away. It will have gone away before it gets to be a major problem. Oh, one stability for 24 ducats. Yes, please. Suppose we could increase that a little bit more. Yeah, if you guys like, I am happy to hear any sort of criticism or like tips on my playstyle. Yeah, okay, so one immediate tip would be, for God's sake, get your ships back to protecting trade. That just lost me like 100 gold probably, because I had them off so long. The state needs the money, or I could have a skill 1 philosopher. Yeah, let's do that one. I wouldn't mind a philosopher. Use half the money. It costs half the money, and +1 prestige is also quite helpful. What about a military guy? Yeah, let's do it for now like this. Yeah, like I was saying, if you guys have any tips or any way for me to improve, I'm happy to hear it. It's been a long time since I played EU4, so I might be doing some stuff wrongly. As you can see, I like playing on speed 5, especially for the Netherlands, where at least at the start you cannot really do much. We can improve our military technology. That's nice. We get a plus 10% ahead of time penalty. And we get some... Oh no, we are not ahead of time, but we haven't embraced Renaissance yet. Is the Renaissance close? We might want to wait for that. It is close. But it'll be a little bit of a while, I think. We're waiting for Antwerp to become... to embrace the Renaissance. We have improved our relations with Brandenburg. We might want to... 54, okay, we're almost there. They don't want a royal marriage, yeah? I guess we could increase our army size a little bit. 7-2, let's have one more knight, because that was one of the modifiers that the game gave for why Brandenburg doesn't want an alliance, is the Dutch army strength, because I think probably our army is a little bit too small for them. I think the game just looks for the levy. In time, many of the everyday occurrences of the life of our Duke and his predecessors has become the subject of ceremony. Oh, here we go. Many of the everyday occurrences in the life of our Duke and his predecessors have become the subject of ceremony. Being able to attend the bedroom of the ruler as he dresses, for instance, is considered by many to be the best way to gain the ear of the Duke. Elaborate court life will limit the power of the nobles to plot against us in the countryside. This, I think, was less of a thing in the Netherlands. I mean, it was kind of a thing, but the count, the Graaf, wasn't really as powerful as like the English king. And I don't know if you English people realize this, but the monarchy in England in the medieval times was remarkably centralized. Like it was more centralized than normal. So sort of the image you have of the monarchy as it was in England is kind of it's not really applicable to most of the continent in the medieval times. France, like around this era, starts to strengthen its kingship a bit, but most of the continent, the monarch was much weaker, had much less power than the English monarch. Let's keep it at a modest level, a lengthy and elaborate ceremony for the most influential. 20 loyalty and loses 15 influence. Yes, please. Can we? I would prefer to, like, I try to always seize this land. I always try to reduce the power of the estates as much as I can. But ideally, I don't want anybody to come below 30%. Could we increase the power of our burghers? Burgher land rights, land of commerce. Burghers in the Admiralty. That's probably not a bad idea. Commercial Advisory Board. Nah, no, none of those are immediately necessary, I don't think. Okay, let's keep it here for now. Am I gonna wait for the Renaissance to come to my land? It's gonna be a while before it's here, but I think I might as well wait, right? Or is it not? Yeah, no, so it's just based on the military power, right? What's the maximum military power? Yeah, so I can still increase to 1100. So I think I'm gonna wait for the Renaissance to arrive before I embrace this new military technology. That's probably the best play, right? Endorse Renaissance philosophy. Den Haag gain 100 support for Renaissance. Oh, wow. Yes, please, they should have our report. A support. With no limit and no bounds, may choose for yourself the limits and bounds of your nature. We have placed you at the world center so that you may survey everything else in the world. Oh, that's great. Renaissance has appeared in The Hague. Can we embrace it already? Probably not. We need money, right? We need 77 gold. That's gonna be here in 10-ish months. I guess we can wait for that. We can embrace an institution. Yes, embrace the Renaissance. And we will immediately increase our military technology. There we go. So now we can change our medieval infantry to either Galloglek infantry, which I think is, yeah, that's from like Scotland and Ireland. This was sort of a common type of mercenary. I think they have like halberds, right? Like many Gallic warriors, two-handed battle axe, but also well armored in the Norse style. And then we have the longbow. Let's do the longbow. Sort of a middle ground, because like these are the pips, as they're called. Basically, the more pips, the better. And then there's various types of pips, which sort of refer to the phase of combat that you're in. So you have, oh no, that's not right. You have morale, you have shock. So shock helps in sort of the first part of the combat. So if you have a high shock value, then people will break sooner. And you have attack, you have morale. That's basically just how long it will hold together. Like the higher, it's basically its HP in a sense. And then we have sort of offensive and defensive. The longbow is kind of a middle ground between the two. But Galloglek is fully offensive, and Man-at-Arms is more defensive. But we need both, I think. We have no particularly defensive or offensive strategy at the moment, I don't think. We have also increased our spy network in Utrecht. So we should be able to fabricate a claim. For example, on Utrecht itself. Fabricate a claim will give us a claim on Utrecht, which will last for 25 years. Let's do it. We now gain a claim on Utrecht. Though Utrecht might be suspicious of the documents we produced, it's still enough to justify a war if we so wish. I do want to offer alliance. Nice. Thank you, Brandenburg. Do you want to marry into my family now? Yeah, I think so. Royal marriage. The Hohenzollern. We're marrying into the Hohenzollern house. So that's good. And also we should make sure that the Austrians stay on our good side. Do they want to be our ally again? Okay, so our trust was at least improved with them a little bit. We might want we might be able to convince them to be our ally actually. If we increase the relations a little bit, would be very nice to have an alliance with the Austrians again. So yeah, you want to keep this relationship with the Emperor as high as possible. Otherwise, he will ask you for uncored land in the Empire if you conquer uncored land. We can't have that, right? Can we do immediately another claim? We can. Who is Utrecht allied to? England. Ouch. Okay. I should have paid attention. That's annoying, though. It's very annoying. Well, I guess they are in a revolt right now, so they might not join. Let's see. England is 264 in debt. No, they're still joining though. Okay, maybe we should go after Friesland then. Allied with France. Wow, great. Allied with Aachen and Wolgast. So I guess we should go after... shouldn't go after Utrecht for now. We should go after Brabant or Flanders. Flanders is probably better. Who are they allied to? Brigands. Yeah, they're definitely better. Build spy network. Let's build a spy network in Brabant. We're not going to go after Utrecht just yet. Although, I guess we could go after one of their allies. That's sometimes like a proven strategy. If we declare war on Oldenburg, then Utrecht will join. And then we can grab land from Utrecht. Although, it's a bit tricky. Because it's a lot higher aggressive expansion if you do that. How long have we been recording? Oh, more than an hour. Okay, I think that's episode 1 done. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have any tips. I have not quite decided on how long this series will be. I think we will at least go for a couple centuries. As you can see, we started in 1444. It's going quite fast. So let's see how far we take it. And let's see if we can unite the Low Countries. And let's see if we can become the massive trade power that the Netherlands was in real life. Let's see if we are able to equal that expansion or maybe even surpass it. Yes, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.